Hey everyone, welcome back to Sarah's Vegan Kitchen. Today I've got a super short video. I want to talk to you about my favorite kitchen gadgets, my must-have small tools that I use all the time that I would recommend to anyone who likes cooking. And I'm not going to talk about appliances today, so if you want a separate video on that, let me know down below. Be happy to make that video. And also I'm going to be giving away one of each of the items that I talk about today, so stick around to the end of the video for the details about that. Cool. I'm going to talk about these in no particular order, but let's start with this guy, lemon juicer, lemon squeezer. I used to always just have a lemon reamer, and what I like about this is that it catches the seeds for you. I also really like that you can just really squeeze it, just be aggressive with it and get every last bit of juice out of your lemon, because sometimes citrus is expensive, okay? You gotta get your money's worth. So I get questions about this. I put it cut side down, bam, just really, cool. Oh, made it! Did you see that? You didn't see that. Voila, delicious, seed-free, alkalizing lemon water. Que refrescante. Refrescante. Let's talk about these scoops. I use these all the time. Didn't think I would, but I do. This larger one I use every time I'm working with batter. So pancakes, muffins, cupcakes. It just lets you get the perfect scoop of batter, plop it onto your pan, and you don't drip everywhere, so it makes cleanup very, very easy. I also use this when I'm measuring out falafel patties or veggie burgers, and I get most of my use out of the larger one, but I also have this little baby one for things like cookie dough, vegan meatballs, energy balls. Very, very handy. Love these. Let's talk about this Julienne Peeler. This turns firm vegetables, zucchini, carrots, daikon radish, cucumbers into little noodles, and I love it. I still find myself reaching for this all the time, even though I have a spiralizer, just because it's easy, it's quick, it doesn't have a bunch of different parts. This is great if you want to jazz up your salad game with some raw noodle dishes, and I also use this every single time I make fresh spring rolls or sushi to julienne my carrots and cucumbers, and I'm a sucker for food presentation. You know that I take so many pictures of my food, and something about the little julienne vegetables inside my sushi just makes me so happy. Next thing I want to talk about, I use almost every single day. Almost. Sometimes I use a microwave because I'm lazy, but most of the time I steam my vegetables, and this is an adjustable steamer basket. So if you put in a small pan, it stays small. If you put in a large pan, it covers the entire thing. It's really nice. Mine has kind of been through the ringer. It's missing a piece, but it still works perfectly fine. Steamer basket is pretty indispensable if you're trying to eat healthy, because usually for most vegetables, not all, the healthiest way to cook it is by steaming it. And I also use this to steam my seitan. So this is just great if you're trying to do some oil-free cooking. Steam your vegetables, must have. Last thing I'm gonna talk about is the grand pappy of kitchen tools, okay? If I had to recommend one item out of all the things I'm talking about today, it would be this. This is a silicone baking mat. You'll have noticed that I use it every single time I bake. This just creates the perfect non-stick baking surface. You don't have to use oil or parchment or aluminum, since we're trying to be sustainable and somewhat healthy here. Keeps the heat really nice and even, so more delicate things don't end up burning or getting too brown on the bottom. It's also really easy to clean up. So all of the caramelized or burnt on juices that you'd end up having to scrub off of your metal baking tray and scratch it all up, they just wash off so easily, like one sponge swipe off of these. I think I have like 6 of them. I hoard these, but I would recommend having at least 2 because they do tend to absorb flavors. So you would have one for savory items, one for sweet items. One time when I just had one, I made a batch of cookies that tasted like garlic, and as much as I love garlic, I didn't want it in my chocolate chip cookies. First one I had, my dad got me for Christmas years and years ago. It was by the actual Silpat brand, and since then I've gotten just generic ones. This one's from Amazon, and they all work basically the same. You don't need to spend a lot on these. Ooh, another thing, if you need to make a lot of batches of things, say you're meal prepping or it's the holidays, you need to make a bunch of cookies, or you're prepping for a party, something like that, you can pull one batch out when it's done, and then you can just slide the whole thing with all of the cookies or what have you off of the tray and let it cool, and then you can keep using the metal baking tray with another one of these. Whereas if you weren't using one of these, sometimes you have to wait. You know, cookies straight out of the oven can sometimes be very soft and they'll break if you move them too soon, and you have to wait for them to cool before you can keep using the tray. So this just slide it off and then you can keep using it. Okay, so those are my 5 essential kitchen tools. By the way, I got most of these things at either like TJ Maxx, Ross, Marshalls, Home Goods. Those types of stores tend to have a really nice kitchen tool section with lots of variety, and everything's pretty cheap. Some things you can get on Amazon as well. Okay, let's talk about this giveaway. I know this isn't really anything huge and luxurious, but I do want to occasionally start throwing in little giveaways here and there to give back to you guys. I really appreciate your support and your beautiful comments. So today's I'm gonna host through YouTube. My next one might be on Instagram, so you can follow me on there if you'd like to. I always have it linked down below my video. Leave a comment, let me know which item you would like to win, and tell me something interesting. If there's like a gadget that I didn't mention that you use all the time that you think I need to get, especially if it's weird. I love learning like weird cooking hacks. Or if you can't think of one of those, leave me a request for a video I can make in the future, a recipe I can test. I don't really care what you comment, just let me know something interesting. I love reading your comments. I try to read and respond to as many as possible. I'm gonna leave this open for a week. I'll leave the exact time frame in the description box below, and then I'll just randomly pick, or maybe I'll have my sister randomly pick the winners, and then just make sure you're checking your YouTube notifications, because I'm gonna respond to the winning comments and then I'll contact you through the YouTube messaging system to get your mailing information. Cool. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.